Oh, public comments. My bad. Maybe it was a Freudian slip there. Public comments. Would you announce that, please?
This is the time and place for public comments. A speaker card is available for those wishing to address the City Council regarding items on the agenda or on a subject within the city's jurisdiction. Speakers for public hearing items shall be called and heard during the public hearing. All remarks should be addressed to the council as a whole, and all documents for City Council and the official record should be presented to the City Clerk prior to speaking. Speakers are requested to state their name and community of residence for the record. Under state law, public comment matters may not be considered by the council unless listed on the agenda, but may be referred to the city manager for administrative follow-up. 18 individuals have presented cards, and pursuant to council standards, speakers are allowed 2 minutes. The yellow light displays when you have 1 minute remaining.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, so tonight I'll state the names and then I'll state the second name so the person will know just to be ready because we've got quite a few tonight. Our first is going to be Rebecca Tatum, followed by Adam Haverstock. So Rebecca, you're up, and then Adam, you're next. When you get to about 10 seconds, I'll let you know and
Thank you.
Put a caboose on the end of the comment train.
Great.
Good evening.
Hello, City Council. It is an honor and a privilege to be here before you tonight. I am a veteran Air Force, a retired registered nurse with advanced degrees, and now a retired radio host. Dr. Rebecca Tatum, Real Women, Real Talk Radio, simple, real talk to help people with real life. I love my country, I love my community, and I'm going to say it, I love God, my parents, my pastor, and I love the president. It is easy because they have proven they love me back. My concern tonight is this. It's getting harder and harder to love it here. Near impossible if some steps progress that will change this community for all intents and purposes for good. Now, the other night, I was at your church, Mayor. And yes, I love you too. You have earned my respect in this community. But I was there at an event, and when it was time to leave, it should have taken me 5 minutes to get home. I'm right down the street. Instead, it took 20. Why? More road work, traffic, more lights, and more time at the lights. And it has only just begun. You see, I hear now there are approvals on the books in Camarillo Springs and Newberry Park to put in 500 more family units. It's been approved. Now, there is one in jeopardy due to flood zone issues. But if you've ever tried to get over the Camarillo grade at rush hour, you just might as well give in. You're not going to make it on time. And yes, the Camarillo grade, that is another issue. You see, with all the traffic, there's also an upgrade coming here in this community in wireless technology. Smart meters and Wi-Fi were put in my home without me even knowing about it. 5G, I know about it coming as I was watching TV last night, and I was informed that AT&T will be rolling out the 5G revolution, a step in the direction of full-blown 5G in this area. I went to the AT&T store today and I asked about it. Yes, it is coming. Now, I've seen some of the pieces forming one at a time, and I have found them on the DAR approved, including not one, but 2 cell towers over my small senior community with a direct line of sight to Peppertree Playfield, where hundreds bring their families every weekend for soccer events. Now, the Camarillo grade, there are some new things happening there.
Dr. Tatum, your time's up. I was trying to give you a signal to the best of my ability.
Oh, my goodness. Can I leave this with you?
Absolutely.
A doctor went to the Camarillo grade and measured it. He has actual numbers for you. And if it is in your purview, my city council, I'm not sure what else to do. Please love this community back. Thank you.
Dr. Tatum, Dr. Tatum, hello. Would you please state your city of residence? And in fact, would all the speakers get in the habit of doing that, please?
Hi, I live at 119 La Fortuna in Newberry Park, California, and I paid off my home.
Congratulations. Adam Haverstock, followed by Carol Tessetta.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, council members. Adam Haverstock. I'm the Director of Government Affairs and Tourism at the Greater Conejo Valley Chamber of Commerce with some updates for you tonight. First and foremost, a couple of events. The first is the Chamber's Regional Economic Forecast coming up on Friday, June 21st. It's a week from Friday. It's going to be at the Sheraton Agoura Hills Hotel at 7 a.m. It's a breakfast event. and it's our annual economic forecast. So we're going to have Dr. Matthew Feenup, who is the director of CERF, the Center for Economic Research and Forecasting at CLU, providing the forecast. And then also we like to feature a keynote speaker. And so this year we're going to have Kristen Dekas, who is the CEO of the Port of Hueneme, who is going to give an update from the port, because obviously it's a huge economic development engine for the county of Ventura. Tickets are on sale on the Chamber's website at conejochamber.org. On Wednesday, July 10th in the evening, from 6 to 7:30 p.m., the Emerging Leaders, which is the young professionals group at the Chamber of Commerce, is going to have their mixer. It's going to be at Brendan's Irish Pub here in Newbury Park, and it's for young professionals aged 21 to 40, but you do not need to be a Chamber member. It's open to the public, regardless of whether they're a member or not, but they do need to be under the age of 40. It's specifically for young professionals. And then finally, I wanted to tell you about a new service we're offering at the Chamber of Commerce. There is a new California law that requires that employees at companies of 5 or more need to have harassment training, workplace harassment training, for at least 1 hour, and supervisors need to have 2 hours of harassment training every 2 years. Through a partnership with California Chamber of Commerce, we're offering that harassment training. You can do it online with video and quizzes through a partnership with Cal Chamber, and we can offer that at the Chamber of Commerce. That is open to all businesses, but there is a discount for Chamber members. So if any businesses are interested, they can go to our website or contact me after. And unless there are any questions, that does conclude my report this evening.
Thanks, Adam. Carol Tessetta, followed by Christy Turner.
Mayor McCoy, City Council.
Good evening.
I'm going to try something new tonight. Let's see. I've seen other people do this, so we'll see. Does that work? Yeah, kind of. Can you all see that? Okay. All right.
Yep, we got it.
So basically, I was trying to understand better the limits that your expert Jonathan Kramer had discussed regarding the 1996 Telecom Act and FCC national standards in 1997. Quote unquote, he says there's a 50 times safety margin between the maximum we can be exposed without even knowing it and the point where you can actually measure an effect from that exposure. So, inquiring minds want to know. I wanted to better understand where he came up with these kind of standards. So I checked the FCC government website under general policy. And on August 1st, 1996, the Commission adopted maximum permissible exposure limits for frequencies for transmitters operating at frequencies of 300 kilohertz to 100 gigahertz. Sorry, it's a little bit out of my comfort zone with all these terminologies. So basically, I'm sorry this isn't the best graph, but basically the 4G we have kind of goes to 6 gigahertz, and the 5G would go anywhere from 30 gigahertz all the way to 100 gigahertz. And in the FCC website, they say that, look at that time, sorry, that at the time there are no current exposure standards. Is that real? Wow, that went fast. That basically, but they refer to permissible limits, and I want to show you that really quickly. Wow, that time flew by. Basically, if you look here, the limits are, I have to take this back, go up to 100,000 megahertz. And current 5G will expose us up to 1 million megahertz. And I can leave this with you if you want. But basically, the 5G is literally
thank you.
off the charts.
You can leave it with the clerk, and we'll take a look at it. Yeah. Our next speaker will be Christy Turner. Folks, please state your city of residence.
Can the previous speaker state their, could you tell me your city of residence, please?
We need city of residence, please. So we have, thank you, Christy Turner, followed by Tricia Brazil.
Hi, my name is Christy Turner. I've been a realtor and resident of the Conejo Valley for 16 years. I work for Pinnacle Properties in Westlake Village and have been recognized as top 10% of agents company-wide. People move here for a better life and better schools. This is truly a matter of life and death and the single most terrifying thing happening right now. We will not allow for these small cell towers to be placed every 250 feet on every 2 to 10 homes. The rollout of 5G has woken us up, but currently we are exposed to microwave radiation 24/7 on a daily basis known as non-ionized radiation. Research has determined conclusively by a $25 million study by the federal government that cell phones cause breakage of our blood-brain barrier and cancer. Studies conclusively confirm DNA damage, cell death, autism, ADD, lowered fertility, endocrine effects, insomnia, heart arrhythmias, neurological, and miscarriages. Kids are sick and too afraid to tell their parents because they don't want their iPad or cell phone taken away. They describe the symptoms as ants crawling on their head, and they're going home sick from wireless technology in their classrooms. Most of us feel it, but we ignore it. Dr. Leonard of the World Health Organization is now calling to change classification to Group 1 definite human carcinogen. We will be presenting this to the Board of Realtors on June 20th and have informed over 3,000 local agents and are getting to local businesses and Amgen. Research indicates over 90% of home buyers and renters are less interested in properties near cell towers. Price drops of 20% is found in multiple surveys and published articles. HUD considers cell towers as hazardous and nuisances. We already have several people moving out of the area. This will be profit now, but loss later. Stop giving tech companies a reason to continue this by ditching your Wi-Fi and hardwiring with fiber optics and Ethernet cords. Ask your service provider to turn your Wi-Fi off from the back end. Call your local building biologists so they can make your home environmentally safe. We have names to recommend. Please give us a chance and help keep these towers out. Thank you.
Mr. Tricia Brazil, followed by Peggy Rosenberg.
In Thousand Oaks, California.
Yeah, you said it. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you for stating your city of residence. Tricia Brazil, followed by Peggy Rosenberg.
Hi, City Council. I'm Tricia Brazil. I live in Thousand Oaks, California. This is my husband, Steve Brazil.
Hey.
All right. To be clear, on the 5G implementation, we're talking about microwave radiation antennas being implemented as close as 15 feet from our homes and throughout our entire city. These technologies are not proven safe. Our homes are not proven safe. There will be no choice in escaping the EMFs. As a result, citizens who are informed and recognize the harms of 5G will relocate to other areas where they are fighting the fight against 5G better and stronger than Thousand Oaks currently is. Cities like Mill Valley have blocked the deployment of 5G with an urgency ordinance amending the municipal code and establishing facility regulations that protect residential zones from the coming installations. Marin County and San Anselmo passed similar ordinances. Why not Thousand Oaks? The ADA already recognizes electromagnetic sensitivity as a disability. Implementation of 5G small cell towers will worsen the health of those who can physically feel the EMFs as well as those who cannot. California firefighters have been on the front line of this fight for the past 20 years. As a result, California legislation has granted an exemption from SB 649 to firefighters who have rejected cell tower installations on fire stations due to proven health impacts. I'm 31 and I'm expecting my first child in November. My husband owns 2 local restaurants and we are very involved with the community. Many consider Thousand Oaks to be an affluent, safe place where city officials hold themselves and our city at a higher standard than the majority of the surrounding cities. This fight against 5G is no exception to the responsibility you have to keep Thousand Oaks at a higher standard. This topic is unrecognized in society, and as a result, the industry is winning the fight at the expense of our health. We are all a modern-day experiment in an already severely cancer-stricken society. The FCC's current recommendations are based on 20-year-old studies. This is unacceptable. The industry is biased and well-funded to overlook this and move forward to further their profits in gathering data. My family and everyone else in this room in against 5G implementation has an expectation that you and your fellow representatives will recognize the weight and severity of this matter and hold the industry accountable.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Peggy Rosenberg, followed by Joy Dupuis. If you'd state your city of residence, thank you.
Peggy Rosenberg, 28-year resident of Thousand Oaks. City Council members, I thank you for the opportunity to come before you again as one of your constituents to share with you my concerns. I'm frustrated, disappointed, and frankly annoyed to attend these meetings only to leave time after time with a sense of not having truly been heard and understood on the matter of the 5G small cell facilities to be installed here in Thousand Oaks. I find it disappointing and telling that I didn't see a single council member among the standing room only crowd who took the time Friday evening to attend a free presentation by a highly trained and respected technological specialist. The event was local, open to all and free. So why was there no council member interested enough in this threat to our community to come and learn what might be helpful in the battle and minimize the negative impacts of this technology? We're not unreasonably requesting that you do the impossible, stop the arrival of 5G in Thousand Oaks. We're simply requesting a 1,500-foot setback from residential areas here, much as other cities have done around the country. We all know it is possible, so we are asking you to truly step up, speak up for us at every appropriate government level and at every possible opportunity. We ask that you just say no to the installations of the 5G small cell facilities closer than 1,500 feet to any residence. Thank you.
Thank you. Joy Dupuis, followed by Paige Nielsen. Paige Nielsen, you're up after Joy.
Hi there, I'm Joy Dupuis. I live in Thousand Oaks.
Thank you.
First of all, I want to thank you guys. I was up on your website for passing an urgency ordinance and enacting some standards based on aesthetic standards, which is all any of us are allowed to do. It's comforting to know that the federal government puts aesthetics before our health. Okay, that was a joke, but that's all right. Okay, so most importantly, our city is a member of the League of California Cities, one of the named parties in a federal lawsuit challenging these new FCC rules. So I'm really grateful to see that up there. I wanted to tell you a little bit about our conundrum, mine and my husband's conundrum as a couple. We have a business in Ventura. We own a home in Thousand Oaks. The city of Ventura became the latest municipality to pass an emergency ordinance to regulate the small wireless faculties before the April 15th deadline set by the FCC. The Ventura City Council's 7-0 vote put the emergency ordinance into effect immediately. It appeals to us, this strong show by vote, that the citizens of Ventura are important enough to challenge the FCC. I found a document that I wanted to leave with you guys. It is called Captured Agency, How the Federal Communications Commission is Dominated by the Industries it presumably regulates. And it was put out by the Harvard School of Ethics. 60 pages, but it's a really excellent read. And I just want to say that I love the mission statement of Thousand Oaks. Extraordinary service to the citizens we serve is our purpose. I want to ask you guys, will you be TO's David against the Goliath of the FCC? Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Joy. We have Paige Nielsen, followed by Vadim Monzos. Paige, did you want to leave? Oh, yeah, okay. Go ahead.
I live in Westlake. Published on May 31st, 2019 in the journal eBiomedicine, said scientists at Wake Forest School of Medicine discovered that non-ionizing radiation does affect our cells. Support of the study was approved by the National Cancer Institute. The FDA approved a chemotherapy treatment with the non-ionizing radiation at very low levels for malignant pleural mesothelioma. It's being used in breast cancer, brain metastasis, colorectal cancer, which is soaring in young adults, that epidemiologist DKU claims is from using smartphones and wants everyone to know. The opposite effect of this radiation of high levels causes great biological harm of all living creatures and people. Has your wireless attorney, who said in front of your counsel and in public record that non-ionizing radiation doesn't cause biological harm, informed you that it does now? If he hasn't given this information that's very important, ask yourselves why. Blue Cross Blue Shield released a report April 24th of this year saying that millennials, the first generation to grow up on cell phones, are experiencing a higher level of unprecedented health issues, from major depression, psychosis, disease of colitis, diabetes. Approximately A number of people signed scientists. Arthur Furstenberg stopped 5G appeal on Earth and in space. 2,000 scientists, 1,400 medical doctors, 4,000 engineers, 2,200 nurses, 2,500 psychologists, 1,200 organizations, 100,000 individuals from 187 countries. Proverbs 1:5, let the wise listen and add their learning, and let discerning get guidance. Proverbs 1:7, the fear of the Lord is beginning of knowledge. Fools despise wisdom and instruction. We are all accountable to help those that don't know what's harming them. Please stand up to the FCC, protect the people as the rights of our Constitution. Thank you.
Thank you. Vadim will be followed by Tanya.
Hello. Good evening.
Oh, I'm sorry.
City Council
Vadim
members.
first, then Tanya.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm jammed in 2 minutes. I'm going to read quickly. I'm here tonight to talk about 6G. Yes, it's not a joke. It's a 6G. I know we're all immersed in 5G, but what if I told you that 6G is already here and offers you a way out of telecoms mess? According to investor newspaper, Samsung Electronics has opened a new research center for the development of core technology for 6G mobile networks, joined the global race for the still rising technology, a company officially reported on June 4th. The upcoming 6G aims to integrate satellites for global coverage to provide far higher data rates and faster internet speeds than 5G, according to International Research Journal of Engineering and Technology. SpaceX has already launched 20,000 satellites into space to bring us 6G. Unlike 5G, 6G is a lot more reliable despite the satellites operating from space. None of those satellites has failed their testing and are able to cover far greater distances than the 5G technology. We all know there was something fishy with 5G. Not only the pulse microwave radiation functions on much shorter waves, but the most important part of its downfall is that the telecoms are not covered by any reinsurance worldwide. This means that the reinsurance know that 5G is going to become the next smoking or asbestos bubble. So why would we rush to employ 5G small cell facility? Why would we destroy the face of our beautiful Thousand Oaks with a small cell facility every 250 feet when 6G is already promising more effective? Whether you are a teacher, a health industry person, or just a layman like me on the street, the choice is simple. Don't roll out our 5G. It's destined to fail. Amend the ordinances to not make Thousand Oaks less attractive to the telecoms and use 6G instead.
Thank you, Vadim. Tanya, if you'd state your city of residence, and Bill Lind will be following Tanya. Hello.
Okay. Hello, Mayor and council members. Okay, here we go. Dr. Barry Trower is a world-renowned physicist, researcher, scientist who has trained in all aspects of radiation technology and its health dangers. He works independently and has never accepted money from anyone or any organization while doing his research. He has numerous degrees, and his specialty encompasses the absorption of microwaves on the high end of the spectrum. Low-level microwaves are more dangerous to our health, and neurological damage can occur within a year, as well as miscarriages, cancers, leukemia, to name a few. Dr. Trower says anybody who puts Wi-Fi in a school should be locked up for life. After doing extensive research, he came to the conclusion that the technological advancement is not worth the genetic problems that humanity will be facing, especially the most vulnerable being children and infants. The high risks for deformities in fetuses have been published, and this is what is called intentional ignorance. It seems that our officials choose some form of incentive over the safety of humans, animals, and the ecosystem. The harmful effects of EMF radiation damage one generation after the other. A pregnant woman will give birth to a child with already genetically damaged eggs. The eggs in the child's ovaries are not equipped to protect themselves against the radiation and therefore can't develop properly. To make matters worse, if a woman doesn't even realize she's pregnant in the first critical 100 days, no precautions are taken. So imagine your sister, your daughter, your niece, your grandchild will have damaged eggs. So when she has children, it is likely that one of those damaged eggs will produce a child with health challenges. This research has been published by highly respected scientists and biologists. If radiation damage damages humans' DNA. It will damage all living organisms on the planet, including plants, crops, and animals. Due to their size, pollinating insects are the most vulnerable to radiation.
Tanya, your time's up. Thank you.
Oh, it's a shame. I really had good stuff.
Well, go ahead and leave it. If you'd like to leave it for us, we'll read it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
What's your city of residence?
I'm sorry, Thousand Oaks.
Thank you. Yeah. All right, Bill Lynn, followed by Judy Bruce. You can leave it with the clerk, and we'll get it. Thank you, dear.
My name is Bill Lind. I reside in Ventura, California. I'm happy to announce that we're going to be exercising our First Amendment rights by filing civil actions against the 5G small cell tower facility in the Thousand Oaks area. Regarding the FCC ruling, what the city attorney has been telling you is law is not law. We will prove that 18133 has not been codified into law and that there is no congressional act that mandates this technology be imposed on us. The reason why you've been told your hands are tied by the law is because the corrupt legal system uses trickery with words and phrases. They use sleight of hand and give illusion that different words mean the same thing. An example of this trickery is using the word law and regulation interchangeably. A person who claims a regulation is a codified law can be accused of fraud. Our legal researcher read every paragraph of the TCA Acts, aka Title 47, in regards to who it applies and under what basis, and took 5 hours. Specifically, Title 47 of the Code of Federal Regulations is a body of law only between the FTC and the telecoms. To set the stage, every public official must take an oath to support the Constitution of the U.S. and the state of California. Here are your oaths here of the City Council. Oaths taken by the attorneys, Noonan and Kramer, are under 6067 and must do the same, and it is attached to their license. They can be sued under the breach of oath for the lack of credentials to practice law. Under what authority do you have to violate the oath? The basic requirement is show me the statute passed by Congress and if it applies to this situation. One must look to the Code of Federal Regulation under Title 47 to determine if they exist and if they are enforceable upon the populace. We demand that you provide us with the congressional act
that gives
authority to blanket us with these poison delivery systems.
2 minutes. Next speaker.
Hey, I just went over
Next speaker, please.
I just went over a little bit on my speech, and you slammed the gavel on me.
You wouldn't stop. You wouldn't
That's
stop. Sit down.
That's
Please sit down.
You're
Please
out
sit
of
down.
line.
Next speaker, Judy Bruce. Please state your city of residence. Next will be Robert O'Reilly.
My name is Judy Bruce. I'm from Simi Valley. This is part 2 of the same comment. Bottom line, according to the Telecommunications Act 34 and 35, Title 47, yeah, it does exist. Does it apply to the City Council? No. It only applies to the telecoms. The FCC has no authority, and Ms. Noonan, I'd like you to look up, please. Has no authority where to put the wireless. Only Congress can do that.
She doesn't have to look up.
Breaking news, there is no issues about health in Title 47. Therefore, restricting health must be abolished. Cities have sovereign rights. Your hands are not tied. We will exercise our First Amendment rights to exercise our grievances that the policies that expose us to this electromagnetic frequency is we're going to use a mandamus agreement, which can be state or federal. A mandamus is a petition to demand an official follow their oath and to point out what mandate is there to allow these poison delivery systems on us. When the FCC imposes this overreach, we will use a mandamus or a civil RICO for an injunctive relief. We will be asking the court to declare the rights of parties for a declaratory relief using Code 28 USC Code 2201 and an injunctive relief using 28 USC 2202. A declaratory relief declares the laws that give us power or not. Where's the CFR? Where's the law that mandates us to use that product or service? An injunctive relief is a request for an injunction using a federal magistrate on the basis of corruption. In summary, there is no law to support the FCC ruling, according to Title 47 of the CFRs. Therefore, the wireless ordinance has no basis in law and must be abolished. Also illegal is assaulting our city with these dangerous small cells and therefore must be stopped. We have entered into public record the U.S. codes that have been enacted into permanent law. Here it is, right here. Thank you.
Robert Orley, followed by Kathy Willett.
Hello, my name is Robert O'Reilly.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. Don't worry about it. It's not the traditional spelling. I will first take a turn here and thank you, Mayor McCoy, and the rest of the council for having us and the staff. And thank you also for the LGBTQ plus proclamation that you signed for us. And then I will say that 17 days from today will mark the 50th anniversary of the Stonewall riots. While much progress has been made, we must not stop fighting now. With our LGBTQ plus and gender nonconforming youth facing suicide rates far higher than their peers, and our trans women of color being brutally murdered at an unprecedented rate, it is of grave importance that this community and these humanitarian issues be acknowledged publicly and recognized as at the policymaking level. The LGBTQ plus and gender nonconforming community must have a voice at the table when policies are being made around behavioral health, homelessness, and substance abuse. So we would like to, again, thank you for this, but we ask that you provide a public proclamation presentation in the future, if that is an option. I was told that it is an option, but with all of the ones that you do give out, you can't commit to doing one for every group or every person who asks for it. But I want to ask for an exception to that. I want to be one of those groups that gets it. I don't want to be, right? I want the community, all of us, to get it, because we're being forgotten and left behind. A lot of the rights are being taken away from the LGBTQ plus community. And what my concern is, we're just going to be forgotten just in discussion when it comes to policies on behavioral health, like I said, homelessness, substance abuse. We are people. We are your sons. We are your daughters, fathers, mothers. And we're being murdered, and we're being forgotten. So don't forget us. Thank you again.
Thanks for coming out.
And I'm from Ventura.
Okay.
From Ventura.
Thanks for coming out, everybody.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Kathy Willett. Hi, Kathy.
Good evening. Thank you so much. My name is Kathy Willett. Oh, and if we could view what's on the overhead.
Sure.
Kathy Willett. I'm a 22-year resident of Thousand Oaks. I also wanted to echo the sentiments that Robert just gave. Thank you so much for approving this proclamation that LGBTQ plus Pride Month is June in Thousand Oaks. I think this is a wonderful thing that the City Council has done, as well as the city overall. How far we have come in the time that I've been a resident. I'd like to express also my gratitude for the evolving way that the city has come. When I first moved here, my daughter was a wee child, and she went all through Thousand Oaks schools. She identifies with the LGBTQ plus community, and she went through a lot of difficult times when she was in school due to her LGBTQ identification. I think this is a wonderful step in the right direction to help everybody become more aware of the specific needs that people have in this community. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Warren Wolf. Was there anyone else that wanted to? Maybe I had. Who do we have next? It's Warren Wolf, Alex Valadez, or did I miss somebody? Do you have it on the list? Because I can have you.
Yeah, we're both on
Okay, come on. You get 2 minutes. It's all right. If I got it out of order, we'll just fix it.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome.
I'm Celia Sandhya Daniels. I'm a trans woman of color. I live in Thousand Oaks with my family. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a musician. I'm a movie maker. I'm a trans activist. And I echo the voice of the unheard transgender and gender non-conforming and LGBTQ youth, teens, and adults in the community. I especially want to recognize and thank you for the Pride last year. It was an amazing event. I have lived in different parts of the country, but I've never felt so safe living in Thousand Oaks, where I could really come out. And coming from a Christian conservative background, I have spoken proudly about my gender dysphoria, about my life to the people, so that they will know that I am real. I'm not perfect. People like us are real. But thank you for this beautiful proclamation. It means a lot to us. And we want to thank you for recognizing us. And we want to request you that next year we would love to do a short presentation in terms of the 30,000 people that live in Conejo Valley and Ventura County. Almost 30,000 LGBTQ folks are here. That we want to thank you for your recognition. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And then the other one on the list, do we have it backwards? What do we have?
Yes, Mayor McCoy, Mayor Pro Tem Adam. My name is Stephen Auclair. Okay. I live in Port Hueneme. I currently serve as president of the Greater Oxnard Organization of Democrats. We represent over 50,000 Democrats in the Greater Oxnard area. But first, I really want to thank you for joining your fellow cities of Simi Valley, Ventura, Port Hueneme, Oxnard, and Moore Park, and as of this morning, the Ventura County Board of Supervisors, in proclaiming LGBT Pride Month in your city for June 2019. It is the 50th anniversary of Stonewall, and we have certainly come a long way, but there's a long way to go, including here in Ventura County and here in Thousand Oaks. I did want to share the concern that others had highlighted that the council nor the mayor chose to recognize LGBT Pride Month, particularly in the 50th anniversary, in a public way. So although the proclamation is very nice and it will be displayed along with the others at the Diversity Collective headquarters so that youth from Thousand Oaks and across the county can see that their elected officials believe in them, believe in their safety, and believe in the LGBTQ community and that they have a place here in Ventura County. So thank you again for signing the proclamation, Mr. Mayor. And of course, there's more to be done to save lives in Ventura County and across the country. As you know, recently in the news, they've highlighted several incidents, multiple times in the last couple weeks of particularly trans individuals being attacked, trans women of color. So it's important to highlight that that is still happening across our country. So thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, City Council.
Thank you. Michael, were you going to share? Were you on there? No? Okay. Next will be Alex Valadez. Is that right? Yeah.
You had called Warren Wolf prior?
Yeah, Warren Wolf. My bad. Okay. We got a little mixed up there.
Hi, my name is Warren. I live in Thousand Oaks. The federal government and the telecommunications industry is going to subject harmful 5G microwave radiation on every citizen in the United States without their consent. And they have strong-armed local city governments to help them accomplish this goal. This is clearly wrong. It shouldn't matter if Congress and the FCC pass laws or regulations insisting on 5G proliferation because it's the responsibility of the people, the city government, and the state government to refuse to comply. The 10th Amendment to the Constitution says the power is not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively or to the people. Our country was founded upon the human right of citizens to resist oppression and unjust laws. The 1996 Telecommunications Act and the FCC mandates are unjust laws or regulations that violate an individual's right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. You say that you have no choice but to follow the FCC mandates, but if you have objectively looked at the scientific evidence about the dangers of microwave radiation, then it's your moral obligation to disobey. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "One has a moral responsibility to disobey unjust laws." Thomas Jefferson said, "If a law is unjust, a man is not only right to disobey it, he is obligated to do so." Henry David Thoreau said, "If the machine of government is of such a nature that it requires you to be the agent of injustice to another, then I say break the law." He also said, "When a man's conscience and the laws clash, it is his conscience he must follow." And lastly, Rosa Parks said, "I had no idea that history was being made. I was just tired of giving in." Please make history today by moving to block 5G from our city streets.
Thank you. Now it's Alex. Is Alex here? Alex Valadez. Followed by Audrey Bruckner.
Hi, I'm here to talk about the 5G issue too, and I'm here in particular because I'm...
Can you state your city of residence for the...
Newbury Park.
Thank you.
And I'm here because I'm convinced that I'm sensitive to electromagnetic fields, so I react in a more serious way than the general population when I'm exposed to higher levels. And I'm here in particular because there's also thousands of studies, peer-reviewed science, showing that exposure to electromagnetic fields at lower levels than what our government deems safe is actually very harmful to humans and all of life. And there's been, for example, an appeal to the United Nations in which around 250 scientists engaged in the study of the biological and health effects of electromagnetic radiation appealed to the UN asking for stricter standards and informing the public of the health risks. And again, these are scientists who dedicate their lives to studying just the health effects of electromagnetic radiation on human life and all of life. And the appeal can be found on emfscientist.org. And scientists such as Dr. Martin Blank of Columbia University signed it, Martha Herbert of Harvard University, Martin Paul of Washington State University. So recognized scientists and experts in their field. So I think it should at least be taken seriously. And one last point on why there's also there's a lot of evidence of no harm is that industries are known to oppose scientific research that threatens their business models, for example, by designing studies in deceptively convenient ways. This has happened with tobacco, asbestos, pesticides, BPA, hydraulic fracturing, big oil, and the pharmaceuticals industry. So we know this happens already. It's no surprise if there's no evidence of harm from other studies.
Thank you. Audrey Bruckner, and then Dr. Kevin Naramore.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I am sharing breaking news. To begin with,
Ms. Buckner, your city of residence?
Thousand Oaks.
Thank you, dear.
To begin with, 5G is the foundation stone of smart cities, which Thousand Oaks is destined to be. In Toronto, Canada, high-profile technology investors and executives, including Jim Balsick, co-founder of BlackBerry, are now opposed to Waterfront Toronto, a 12-acre partnership between Google's Sidewalk Labs and the city of Toronto, destined to be a Google smart city. They commented that this project is a, quote, colonizing experiment in surveillance capitalism, attempting to bulldoze important urban, civic, and political issues, end of quote. The idea was sold to them as be one of the world's first smart cities, drawing on environmentally conscious design and emerging technologies to, quote, accelerate urban innovation, and serve as a beacon for cities around the world, unquote. Roger McNamee, U.S. venture capitalist, co-founder of Silver Lake Partners, said, quote, "This project is the most highly evolved version to date of surveillance capitalism. It is a dystopian vision that has no place in a democratic society." Okay, another one. On May 29, Louisiana became the first state to call for their own independent study on health impacts of 5G. The Louisiana legislature passed House Resolution 145 with a vote of 103 in favor and 0 representatives against the measure. They have halted the 5G rollout until
Ms.
they
Bruckner,
get
your time's up, dear.
the result of their study.
Thank you. Dr. Kevin Naramore, followed by Linda Poor.
Good evening, Mayor McCoy and City Council members.
Good evening.
Let me put this up here since I'm so tall. Before I came up, I gave to the front reception a research study. I hope they've given you a copy.
We've got it.
Okay, and it starts in an Acorn article. I've got some good news tonight. You know, it's been kind of a heavy night, very serious tone. I'd like to leave you with something, and I'm not kidding, something upbeat. So most of the City Council members now know that the proposed 5G small cell towers are not only going to be millimeter wavelength, which is above 20 gigahertz, but microwave, which is like above 6 or 8 gigahertz. So past research about the effects of microwave cell tower, I think we should look at that because it does apply to the new technology. Reducing non-ionizing microwave radiation near living areas is ultimately a joyous thing. In 2014, Japanese physician Tatsuharu Shinjo published a before and after study in which he evaluated the health of residents of a condominium building in Okinawa upon whose roof cell phone antennas had been operating for several years. Prior to the removal of the antennas, 21 residents suffered from chronic fatigue, 14 from dizziness, vertigo or Meniere's disease, 14 from headaches, 17 from eye pain, dry eyes or repeated eye infections, 14 from insomnia, and 10 from chronic nosebleeds. 5 months after the antennas were removed, no one in the building had chronic fatigue. No one had nosebleeds. No one had eye problems. Only 2 people still had insomnia. One still had dizziness. One still had headaches. Cases of gastritis and glaucoma were resolved. Doesn't it make common sense that reducing this radiation burden is a joyous thing? It's a good thing for the city.
Thank you.
So, thank you.
Linda Poor, followed by Lorena Savnatari.
Hello. How are you this evening? I'm from the city of Thousand Oaks, Westlake Village, in that little area back near Triumphal Park. And I'm going to try to read this as fast as I can, but I don't know if I'll get through it or not. I had an opportunity on 3 separate occasions to be allowed to voice my opinion here before. And I was able to personally be able to speak with the city attorney at a prior meeting. It's very gratifying to know that we can both communicate and hear and listen to each other and voice our thoughts. I have learned through the years that there is more than one way to reach the same results and stop arguing about how one does it as long as there's a good and positive result. Sometimes even when you want to reach a good result, you may have to do unorthodox things in order to achieve the best result. At the end of the 18th century, the number one problem in the United States was pollution. And that was because of all of the livestock in the country. But as being a country of ideas and keeping moving forward, we came up with a bright idea. We invented the automobile. Certainly that stopped the livestock pollution. However, it created a new pollution problem for the 20th century. Now we have several problems with radiation coming from all different things, the phone, the internet, 4G, 5G, etc. However, there are cures for this now, and the cost is not overburdensome. Instead of cell towers, we can use fiber optics or hard wiring to eliminate this. Last year, the City of Thousand Oaks wanted to get rid of the telephone poles and the electrical wiring on Thousand Oaks Boulevard for safety reasons and also for beautification issues. The city, along with the residents, agreed to pay the extra cost to benefit all. It worked. We're
Your
safer.
time's up now. Thank you.
That's it?
That's it. Thank you. Lorena Salvatore, and then followed by Mandy Jacob.
I always try to speak from here. Is that okay? I don't live in Thousand Oaks. Well, I live part-time. I work for Land on Enchantment. It's a boarding care for elderly. And I also, I am a citizen of, or resident of Camarillo. Last time I was here, I mentioned about some 5G towers that were being installed. And city attorney said that it wasn't true. But so I want to correct this mistake. So I went and investigated, and actually the general city attorney said that those were smart meters, and actually 5G is not just antennas, but 5G is any device that is going to be part of the rollout of the 5G. So smart meters for utility, they are still producing emissions, radiation emissions. And I went on your website, and on page 12 says, move towards becoming a smart and wireless connected city with complete wireless coverage. All right? That sounds very good. We all like to be things fast, be connected. Now, that was page 12. Page 15 says, find ways to enhance internet availability through the community. Now, if you read page 4, one of the things that you state is maintain an equality of life, including public safety, operating an open and transparent manner to maintain public trust and promote accountability to enhance effectiveness of city operations. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Mandy Jacob.
Hi, City Council. I just wanted to say thank you so much for allowing us all to address you tonight. And I know that it hasn't been easy for anyone.
Could you state your city of residence, please?
Oh, sorry, Newbury Park.
Thank you.
We all are fighting for the face of Thousand Oaks. And I just wanted to talk about a bit of misinterpretation of my last speech. When I spoke, you can go back and watch it on TV, I said that there was legal action that had been taken against the city. And I still hold true to my word that there was legal action. The definition of legal action is not lawsuit, and I did not say lawsuit. I take very seriously every time I come and speak to you, I give you the truth, and I want you to know I will stay by my word about legal action, and the rest I leave up to you. I'm sorry that you have to keep going back. On my behalf, did say Ventura County, and then changed to Ventura City when I was talking about the ordinance. And I did mean Ventura City because you're 100% correct. Ventura County is only 50 feet away. So that was my mistake. The mention about having disclaimers at the end of ordinances, I think is a great idea. And if that means that we can put in an ordinance and an amendment of 6 words saying, please give us a 1,500-foot setback, and at the end of the ordinance, 88 pages later, say, but the disclaimer is this, that would be great. We all keep saying the same things. It's all about verbiage, and I know that we have put it down that we want commercial and industrial first. But if we can use words instead of encourage and preferred, use words like required. That just puts us in a better stand. And then the other misinformation was when I was talking about the ADA people, or the people that were electromagnetically sensitive that couldn't come. Yes, of course, they didn't speak to the city and they didn't ask for any accommodations. They just couldn't come because they were put out by their illness for the next few days. So those were the things that I just wanted to.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Folks, well, I don't normally speak following comments. I want to share a couple of things in relation to 5G because, as you can see, we're staying right on the 2-minute line. We have other city business to attend to. A number of you have been speaking at our meeting since the early spring, and the council's listened carefully, and I can testify I have. The staff has responded factually. We've consistently steered you to the appropriate federal venue. I hope that you know by now these FCC rules affect every city in the United States. We've shared this continually. The Thousand Oaks City Council, like cities across the country, we've taken action to update our ordinance and provide as much protection as possible within the law. Now, I know some of you are saying the doctrine of the lesser magistrate. You want us to contend. You say David and Goliath. We've had the same request for folks with SB 54. We've had the same request for folks concerned about the Boise ruling. And they want to spend the 167,000 citizens' taxpayer dollars for their one issue. When you state people like Rosa Parks or Martin Luther King or Dietrich Bonhoeffer, those are all citizens that nonviolently oppose these things. But calling upon the city council, where we have a pluralistic society and we have to deal with their tax dollars, this may be a big issue to you, and we'll listen. But I will stay to the 2-minute mark. We're doing the best we can as a city. There are court proceedings underway. Federal inquiries have been submitted, but nothing's changed to date. We said we'd keep you updated on that. Until something of significance changes on those fronts, there are no further actions the city council is going to take. None. I will also add that finally, as we've seen some recent correspondence involving personal attacks of our city staff, and I don't appreciate that. Calling them a liar, I don't like it. I don't need to state clearly and firmly that those types of actions are unacceptable and counterproductive. I opened up our facility for you to have your meeting, and to say that I didn't attend because I'm attending my son's event in San Diego, I'm open and I am very concerned about what's important to you. But to misrepresent this city staff is not acceptable. And then finally, continuing channeling your passions to the federal legislators. We'll continue to keep a watchful eye on the courts. But if you want more from us, you have the 2 minutes. We're going to hold to that 2-minute, and we'll continue to keep you updated. And that's all I have to say about that. So we'll move on to our consent calendar.